Welcome back to the Smarter Marketer podcast, brought to you by Rocket Agency. I'm your host, James Lawrence. Okay, welcome back to the Smarter Marketer podcast. I'm here today with Jordan Slover. Jordan, g'day from Down Under.
Hey, James.
So Jordan started his career in digital with Google. He worked for a number of years in both the New York and London offices, a variety of roles, including strategic partner development manager. We crossed each other's paths when Jordan actually worked with us here Down Under for how many years, Jordan? 3, 4?
Almost 4, I think.
Yeah, 4 years. You told me at the going away party that you were only planning on staying for 6 months.
I thought there was no way I would work for you for more than 6 months and then I would keep traveling. But James was a good boss and I really liked it and I stayed 4 years.
Excellent. So after leaving us, went back to America, founded his now really successful agency, Neon Ambition. So website, one of Texas's most experienced paid search, SEO, CRO, and content marketing companies, now with offices on the East Coast in New York. Jordan's also winner of the Google AdWords All-Stars Summit Award in 2015 and 2016. Jordan, welcome to the pod.
Thanks, James. Good to be here.
So what we thought we wanted to do today was we obviously know each other really well. Collectively, I guess we've probably sold SEO for, showing our ages here, but probably 35 years combined, and thought it'd be good just to have an open conversation. 2 agency owners, both familiar with the Australian market. Jordan, obviously super exposed to the North American market. Just to, I guess, put ourselves, if we were in your shoes as an in-house marketer looking to procure SEO services, like what would be the process that we would go through, I guess. And our agencies are similar in some ways, they're different in others. We've kind of been exposed to big and small. So just wanted to talk it through, and hopefully from having been on the inside, I'm trying to now pretend we're looking from the outside in, kind of share some insights to in-house marketers that might help them better procure SEO services. So I think first of all, the one we're talking about, Jordan, was if you do have an incumbent SEO provider, how would you assess their current performance and kind of get a sense as to whether they're doing a good job or not?
Yeah, that's a good question. So if I had an existing SEO company, communication is really a big one for me and for my company, customer service. So if your company is not willing to meet with you when you have questions or answer the questions that you have about what they're doing, or walk through reporting, those would be things that I would be concerned about. And that's what a lot of things that I hear why people are coming and inquiring with Neon Ambition is because they don't know what their current SEO agency is doing. So that's obviously a problem. If you don't know what you're paying for, or you don't know what the team is doing, or they're trying to, tell you it's too complicated, then I really would question what they're doing. So that's a big one to look out for.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's probably one of the key drivers when we get people chatting to us about new business, being just there's no love. I'm not getting any, my account manager changed. I haven't heard from the new one, what it might be. In terms of actual performance and metrics, what would you say are the key? It's kind of a funny environment, right? Last 2 years, COVID, some industries, traffic has just gone down and whatever else. So how do you actually measure effectiveness of your current SEO provider?
Well, it should always be about return on investment. As long as you're getting enough organic leads and those leads are good enough quality to turn into customers, and those customers are worth more than what you're paying your SEO, I think to a certain degree it's successful. Obviously, you have to measure the ROI of your SEO investment compared to your pay-per-click or other, advertising efforts and put your money where it's most effective. But SEO often is one of the best ROIs, I think, for a lot of our customers, especially over the long run. So at the end of the day, I always get excited when I see our customers' traffic going up and to the right, and then have to remind myself, Jordan, traffic doesn't matter. And even though I've been doing this for 13 years, I still get excited about increases in traffic before I remind myself, wait a second, let's look at organic leads. That's what really matters. And then you see organic leads going up every month, and you get excited. but then you even have to remind yourself, wait a second, we have to get on the monthly reporting call or the weekly status call and say, hey, how are the quality of the leads? Are these turning into customers? And it's really only then when you get that feedback from the customer that, yes, our phone's ringing more, yes, we're getting more form fills, and their quality, that we really can pat ourselves on the back. Yeah. And that should be improving every month, even if traffic, is going up or down. As long as you're getting enough business to more than pay for your SEO, it's a win.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's probably definitely true of more mature campaigns. For us, early days, traffic, green arrows in terms of keyword rankings on terms that we agree to be valuable are good leading indicators, I guess, of campaigns moving in the right direction.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. So early days, you absolutely have to rely on rankings because especially if you're a new business or a brand new website and you're starting from ground zero, traffic is going to be slow to come and leads are going to be slow to come. So in the early days, we are relying more on keyword ranking reports because, you might not even be in the top 100 for a really competitive keyword. And after 2 months, you move into the top 100. Okay, great. Then you move from 100th to 80th to 60th to 40th, all the way up to 11th.
Yeah.
You just made tremendous progress, but you're still on top of page 2 and the phone's not ringing. That's but, it. So yes, we do rely on rankings early days, and then hopefully, move a little bit away from tracking individual keywords and focus more on leads down the line. But yeah.
How do you guys pitch timeframes? Because obviously, and I think we'll get into kind of signs you're dealing with potentially good agency that you're considering, but how do you pitch it? Because I think the industry has done itself such a disservice over the years, and it isn't something that you can generally move quickly in terms of SEO performance. But equally, that means that nefarious providers can kind of hide behind the fact that it does take time. So how do you set expectation with a prospective client or an existing client as to how long before they can start to expect results?
Yeah. Well, I often tell people in the sales process that half my job is setting expectations. Mm-hmm. And it's something I take a lot of pride in, trying to set realistic expectations, because it is my agency. I'm not just a sales rep trying to hit a quota, which is something, we might talk about later, need to pay attention to who's talking to you. And is it just a sales rep trying to hit a quota, or is it the owner of an agency or someone higher up at an agency who maybe has more skin in the game or more to lose if they set unrealistic expectations. But one of the sites that I have bookmarked, it's maybe the only site that I actually use bookmarks for, is Google's own SEO advice. So if you go to Google and search Google's SEO advice, one of their webmaster pages comes up, and I like to cite this page, and maybe you can include a link to it when you post the podcast or something. Yeah. But Google themselves say give your SEO 4 to 12 months to see results, which is an annoyingly long time frame. But I understand why it's so long. It's because every client is completely different in their SEO journey. Whether you're a brand new website, and if you are a brand new website with no backlinks or very little content, you probably are looking 6 to 12 months. But it even depends on industry, and it depends on location. There's so many variables to consider when deciding or when talking about how quickly should we see results. So, some of the most competitive industries we've worked in are personal injury law, which I don't know if that's really a thing in Australia, but insurance is another really competitive one. And, but if you're in a small rural town, and there's not a lot of competition, and you're only trying to rank for your small town, it might only take 4 months to get results. But if you're in a major metropolitan area in a really competitive space, or even if we're not talking about local SEO, we're talking about trying to rank all across Australia or all across the US, and now you're competing with all of the companies, it can take longer. So this is going to be a really long-winded answer, James.
No, it's good. But this is nuanced, right? That's the reality of it.
Yeah, this is really nuanced. So, and this is another thing that I think is really important when shopping for SEO, is talking to a company that takes the time to assess where you're at versus the competition.
Yeah.
Because until you do that, it is almost impossible to set realistic expectations for how long SEO is going to take for you and your company individually. And also to right size the amount of SEO you do, because you can just do the bare minimum to kind of tick the box and say, yeah, we did some SEO, great. Or you can get really aggressive with it. And we can talk about what the difference between those two things are. But one of the things that I do at Neon Ambition is a lot of competitive research in the sales process. And what I take a look at is how much traffic do you have currently versus your competition? And I'm using SEMrush for this. They estimate organic traffic. We don't have access to all of our competitors' Google Analytics, but SEMrush estimates organic traffic. So I'll take the prospects site, and I've been doing more and more companies these days because the more data you have, the better. So we'll maybe take a look at 5, 10, upwards of 20 competitors, depending on the space. And we take a look at how much organic traffic they have, we look at how many indexed pages their website has, how many of those pages are ranking for anything organically. We take a look at how many referring domains the website has coming to it, which is essentially how many websites are linking to it. We take a look at the domain trust flow and the domain citation flow, which are two metrics from Majestic. We'll take a look at the number of Google reviews they have, if it's local business. We take a look at the number of keywords in the top 3 and the number of keywords in the top 100. And we take a look at all of that for, their site versus 10 or 20 competitors. And it's really only then that I start to get an understanding of where they're at in the space. Are they the lowest? Do they have the lowest amount of traffic of all their competition? Well, boy, they're going to have, a hill to climb, and we're talking a longer time frame. Maybe they're halfway in that chart. And then you got to really take a look at like for like competitors. Who do they view as their most like for like competitor?
Do you get them to supply the list of competitors?
I try to, yeah. Because I always tell them, hey, I can Google, Austin personal injury law firm or whatever, and see who Google says are your competitors. But if you could tell me who your competitors are as well, I think it's better, because I might only search for a couple keyword phrases, but if I search for 3 other keyword phrases, maybe I'd find different competitors. So I always want to make sure that I have the competitors that they know, and they usually know who their competitors are. So it's really only then that I can take a look at, hey, your site has 100 pages, and all of the sites that rank above you and have a lot more traffic than you have 1,000 pages. Well, no wonder they have more organic traffic than you. They have 900 more opportunities to rank, or your site has 100 backlinks or referring domains, and all of the sites that rank ahead of you average 500. Okay, well, that is, those are the gaps that we have to make up. And of course, it's not, we just have to get you 500 links. It's not whoever has the most links wins. It's quality links, but it does give us an idea of how far behind the competition we are. Then what I've been doing recently, which I am loving, I get really excited about this competitive research, is link velocity, right? So we can take a look at how many links you have now, but that's just a snapshot in time. SEMrush, you can look at how many links they've built over the past 12 months, and you can divide that by 12 and see, this site's adding 20 a month, this site's adding 100 a month, and you can start to see how many you're adding a month. And that helps us determine how many links that they should be building each month, how much content they need to create to catch up, and then can help us right size the package, so to speak. We don't have SEO packages. Every SEO quote I've ever done in 8.5 years is completely custom. And it's because everyone's situation is completely different. So I will often give 3 options to people and say, Neon Ambition has 6-month minimum contracts, because again, like Google says, it generally takes 4 to 12 months. So I like to say, if you give us 6 months, we will prove to you that we know what we're doing, and you'll stay with us. And 95% of our customers historically do stay with us beyond that 6 months. But I'll say, hey, I've done the research, and I think this is what we need to have enough time and to write enough content, to build enough backlinks over the next 6 months to move the needle enough to prove to you that we know what we're doing. If you want to spend less, we can, but now your time frame's probably getting pushed out. Or, hey, do you want to be really aggressive? And maybe you just got Series A funding, or you just are ready to speed things up. You can get a little more aggressive and write more content, and build more backlinks, and that pushes the time frame up a little bit.
I think it's positioning it that way. I think listeners to the pod primarily in-house marketers, right? And often making decisions themselves, but often having to get buy-in from C-suite, MDs, whatever else. I think often positioning things through the prism of the competition, right, and the competitors, and kind of saying, doesn't matter how we feel about ourselves. The reality is we're sitting here and we've got 100 pages versus 1,000, or 15 links versus 100, or whatever it is, to say that it doesn't matter how we feel about ourselves, but the reality is we're behind, and if we want to catch up, this is what we've got to do, as opposed to, I think, falling through the trap of SEO being very technical and very jargon heavy. And I think it's quite hard to quantify that in a lot of instances. So I think it's probably a good way to try to put that lay of the land picture together. This is where we're at, and then this is where we should be. And I think that probably leads in nicely to the next question. Like, if you had to get SEO done for Neon Ambition and you weren't allowed to use your own team, or if we were doing it for Rocket, like what would you be looking at? Like, what are the signs, the symptoms that this could be a good fit in terms of an SEO agency or an SEO company or an SEO consultant for your particular needs?
I would be looking for someone that does that kind of research.
We can't just do each other's.
Right. I do feel bad for in-house marketers, especially those that don't have a great deal of knowledge or a great deal of experience with SEO. I mean, a true story. I used to say this all the time when I worked for your company, James, because I saw it in Australia when our customers would get multiple SEO quotes, and they'd be wildly different. And it happens in America as well. There's so many SEO companies around the world, and there's so many bad ones and good ones. And this is a real story that a law firm I was speaking with got 10 SEO quotes. And I was very discouraged to hear that when he told me, because I was like, oh man, my odds of winning this business are not great if you got 10 SEO quotes. And I said, oh, perfect. You're able to confirm whether this is true or not. I've always told people that if you get 10 SEO quotes, you'll get a really wide range of prices. What was the range? She said, Jordan, I got quoted $500 a month to $13,000 a month. And they all told me they'd get me to page one. And so I just feel bad for in-house marketers having to sort through this, because, you'll get wildly different pricing. Everyone's going to say we do technical SEO, we do content, we do backlinking. Whether they do or not is a different story. A lot of agencies don't do backlinking because it's so difficult, but they'll build citations, which are really easy to do, and have a little bit of impact, but not the same as backlinks. And they'll try and pass that off as backlinking. So the devil is really in the details. So I think to maybe try to dig into this question a little bit more, some of the things I'd be looking for. That was your question, right?
Yeah. This is great. Yeah, totally.
Details in the proposal. So I always encourage, my customers, let me help you compare apples to apples, because I can't tell you, it's happened a few times over the years where someone's called me and said, hey, Jordan, love your presentation, going with someone else. They were half the price. And I'm like, okay, can I try to see if they're offering the same thing? We were offering 8 blog posts a month. How many blog posts a month are they doing? Oh, well, it doesn't say. It says they're going to write blog posts for us, but it doesn't say how many. And I'm like, okay, you might want to ask, right? Are they doing backlinks? Yeah, it says they do backlinking outreach. And it's like, okay, well, how many backlinks are they telling you they're going to build each month? Because in my proposal, we say we're going to build 20 backlinks for you each month. And, their proposal doesn't say, and then, so looking for those specifics, I mean, those are two SEO outputs that your SEO agency, in my opinion, should be doing for you every month: writing content, building backlinks. And if they're not clearly defining that, then what are you getting?
Yeah.
I've had a really good insight into how low-cost SEO agencies operate over just the past 2 months. Neon Ambition's growing, and I've been interviewing a lot of SEOs. And I've spoken to a lot of SEOs that work at big agencies that have, one of them had 23,000 customers, James.
Sounds like a lot of headaches.
23,000 customers. And their average retainer was about $1,500 a month.
Wow. And
Neon Ambition really doesn't do SEO for $1,500 a month, or hasn't historically. I have another agency that I've recently realized is one of our legal competitors, who has 500 clients, and their average retainer is $1,750 a month. And to me, that is just really not enough in the legal space to make a difference. And I've really always wondered, how do companies like this that undercharge, A, get results, but B, make any money? How do they do it? Because SEO is hard and it requires a lot of work. You need technical SEO, you need copywriters, you need link builders, you need account managers. And I've started to kind of understand how some of these low cost providers do it. And I think I'd like to share some of those things that I've uncovered.
Yeah.
One is, when Neon Ambition does a technical audit, which is usually one of the first things that we do a really thorough technical audit. I think there's something like 90 things that we look at, and we do it all almost as soon as we sign up with a client, and prioritize them, and then immediately start fixing them. Well, one of the guys I interviewed who, worked for this company with 22,000 clients, they have the same like 80, 90 point checklist, but they do 5 things the first month. And then they move to the 5 next things the second month, and then 5 more things the third month. So it takes them literally over a year to complete the technical audit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, that's not a good way of doing it. You should, if you know what's wrong, fix it straight away, or they'll do some technical SEO, and then if they have any budget left over, they'll build backlinks. But sometimes they don't, because they don't allocate their time accordingly. Or I've been interviewing a lot of account managers, and I always ask account managers, hey, how many accounts do you manage at your current agency? And I've been shocked at some of the numbers that I've heard. I've heard account managers managing 100, 150 accounts, which is, I think, I'm like, how do you do that? And they're like, well, not well. The squeaky oil gets the wheel, or, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. But even 30, I've heard 30 accounts, and,
it's just nothing, is it? That's spending 3 hours a month on a client, right? That's looking at a monthly report, sending it, and doing the call. That's not built, and that's not understanding the business. How do you solve the problem?
Oh, no, definitely not. So, we try to have, our account managers probably have about 8 clients. If they're bigger accounts, maybe it's less, maybe it's 5 accounts, but probably 5 to 8. And I feel pretty comfortable sharing that and telling prospects that. And if you're talking to a SEO company that is, offering you $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month SEO, those are some of the questions I'd be asking is, who's my, so I also would be asking who's going to be my account manager. I'd want to meet with them. I'd actually want to meet as much of the team as possible. And that's something we offer once we get, through a sales process and they've seen a proposal and they're, getting close to signing up. I'll schedule a meeting and introduce them to the head of our copywriting team, one of our technical SEOs, the account manager that I'm likely to assign to them, our account director, and have a call and let them ask them any questions they want. I always encourage them to look up these people on LinkedIn, see their previous history. I mean, again, like interviewing a lot of SEOs, I've come across people that worked at SEO agencies where they hired gas station attendants and trained them to be SEOs, which great. I mean, good for those people, but also not how we hire. We like to hire people with experience and really,
yeah, that's like a gas station attendant who's done 5 years of SEO, sure, but not the one that's 3 months into their journey, right?
right. Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
We were talking before the session started, over promising and guarantees. Like the industry has kind of been rife with guarantees for a long period of time. Google has been quite strong in terms of don't take up guarantees. Are guarantees something that you'd be probably a highly leading question, but I guess what's your perspective on guarantees? But equally, we're professional service providers. Surely if you're taking a client's money, you should be saying, well, success looks like X, right? Without necessarily being a guarantee. Like how do you think if you were procuring SEO services, you'd want someone to comfort you as to what success looks like?
Yeah, so I'm always really honest with people here and say, forget SEO. There's no guarantees in any form of marketing. As far as I'm aware of, if there were, please tell me. But with SEO, it's so impossible to offer a guarantee unless that guarantee isn't worth the paper that it's written on. And I can explain. We don't know. So why can't you offer a guarantee in SEO? Well, one, we don't control Google. They change their algorithm constantly, and they don't tell the SEO world how they're going to change it ahead of time. They change it, and then we have to do research and figure out what changed.
Yep.
So we can be doing the best SEO in the world, and then tomorrow they change the goalposts, and your rankings drop, and it's not because we were doing anything wrong necessarily.
Yep.
We also don't control the competition, so I can do this historical research and see where you sit versus your competition, but I don't know if your competitor's talking to another SEO company with double the budget that you have and getting ready to sign up to do twice as much SEO as you tomorrow, so we don't control the competition either.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think I've never seen a guarantee that is actually a guarantee. Like, so the bulk providers that probably the ones that in the States have the 23,000 customers, if we don't get you positioning on a keyword or a really wide range of keywords, it never actually connects to goals, revenue type metrics. And if it does, then what's the guarantee then deliver? Generally, it delivers, we'll continue working for free until something has been delivered. And what that typically means is continuing to send an automated monthly report until you realize that no work's being done, which might be month 7, month 8, month 9. And then you start having the conversation that we're talking about now, which is I've got to find a real SEO company. So you paid for 6 months, no work's then done for another 3. And then you find yourself a year behind where the competition is at. Is that kind of what you're seeing out there as well?
Yeah. So a couple of things there. I've seen guarantees where it's, guaranteed to get you on page 1 for, 10 keywords or something like this. Well, these are often long tail, uncompetitive keywords with low search volume that getting you ranking 10th on the first page isn't going to have any impact on your business.
Yeah.
So it's an easy thing to guarantee, but it's not, like you said, driven towards ROI, so it's getting you ranking on worthless keywords. The work for free thing I've seen a couple of times. It actually happened to me late last year. I was talking to, I keep talking about law firms. It's one of our key verticals, but someone was upset with their SEO, told him that he was looking to move on, and they said, "Oh, we'll do SEO for you for free for the next 2 months." And I said, "Okay, well, of course we'll be here, if that doesn't work out. But if your SEO hasn't been getting you results for the past 6 months or 12 months, whether you're paying them or not, they're unlikely to all of a sudden get better at SEO and get you results the next 2 months," is kind of my opinion. So I think you're just better to cut your losses and find an SEO company that you think can get you results. And actually, ultimately, that's what he did. He waited 1 month and realized these guys aren't getting any better. What am I waiting for?
No one's working for free, and it just means you're losing time, right? Your competition's continuing to put out content and build links and fix technical issues, and you're sitting there getting a monthly report that gets emailed once a month.
Yeah, this is another, falling behind is an interesting thing to bring up as well, because I encounter this a lot where people are unhappy with their current SEO, come to us. I do a lot of competitive research and tell them I think you should be spending X thousand dollars on SEO, and often I hear, oh my gosh, that's double what I'm paying now,
Yeah.
or more, sometimes. And I have to remind them, hey, you called me because your SEO isn't working. Your $2,000 a month, your $3,000 a month SEO isn't getting you results. It's because you're not doing enough. It's because your current SEO undersold you or didn't know how competitive it was, or B, they don't know how to get you the results, or maybe both. They don't know how to get the results, and you're under investing in SEO. And I think a lot of people get discouraged and think SEO doesn't work, when in reality they're actually just under investing in SEO.
It's chronic. And I think the issue with that is that your average business owner, your average marketer doesn't really understand the intricacies, right? Nor should they. You've got these providers that have gone out, kind of tried to make SEO seem easy and cheap and backed it with guarantees to scale businesses. And we see it all the time. You're dealing with real businesses, real marketing budgets, big marketing teams. They're spending tens of thousands of dollars on paid media through Google and paid social. And then when it comes to SEO, it's like, they expect to spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, which is, 25% the cost of a full-time employee. It's 8% of what they're spending on digital media, when organic traffic drives half of the traffic around the internet every day. Most of our clients that are running a broad blended B2B marketing, digital marketing campaign or good B2C campaign, SEO should be driving half your traffic. So not to say you should be spending half your budget. You're going to get a lot of branded traffic coming through on organic, which you're going to pick up anyway. But a proper invested SEO strategy, great content, good technical, good link building. That's, I think, what you said is bang on, right? Which is, but also highly customized depending on your competition, your industry, what's happening out there. But big, massive brands that have their own massive in-house digital teams have many full-time employees working on organic traffic, right? Whether it's content or technical SEO, and the idea that that you can solve your SEO problem for $2,000 or $3,000 a month, it's just fanciful, right?
Yeah. If that's what you're investing in a competitive industry, you probably are falling further behind every month rather than catching up, unfortunately.
Interesting.
And then unfortunately, I see a lot of people continue to stick with their SEO because they don't want to spend more, or have loyalty to their current company or something. I don't know why, but I think a lot of times, and maybe this is wishful thinking, but a lot of times when I don't win a deal, I think it's because they just ultimately don't do anything. They decide, I don't want to invest because I don't believe in SEO, because I haven't been getting results, but it's all because it all ties back to the fact that they've really been under investing, and that's why they're not getting results, And I truthfully, I learned that the hard way, James, when I started Neon Ambition. I had small clients, mainly to start, and then, over time got bigger clients, and the bigger clients were getting much better results than the smaller clients. And it really, made me mad and frustrated me, and couldn't understand it, because I didn't have, I used to tell myself, what is going on? I don't have an A team and a B team. It's not like I have all my best people on my big clients and junior people on my small clients, because I didn't have junior people. I only had what I considered an A team, really experienced people.
Yeah.
But the clients spending more were getting much better results than the clients spending less. And I didn't understand that until I realized it's because they're not doing enough content. They're not doing enough backlinks, to move the needle. And I do see it,
I think that kind of is probably nicely brings everything full circle. Like when we were working together and you were working for us, we probably, not because we weren't trying to do a good job, but we probably were doing some of that more entry-level package-driven SEO, because that's where the market was, and that's what we thought we needed to do to land clients, but also do the work. I think both of our businesses have probably moved upstream, not to the point where we're doing just blue chip. We're both working with small business, medium business, and some larger clients. But I think because both of us actually want to drive results for our clients, right? So we're kind of moving where we need to be. And I think what you mentioned earlier on in the podcast, which is, who are you speaking to? Like, are you speaking to someone that, it's kind of take a ticket, next please, factory type operation? Or are you getting the sense that you're dealing with an agency that has a large number of happy clients? You're speaking to a senior member of the team or a business owner that probably isn't on commissions. No one in our business is on commission. I think probably similar at yours, that actually is trying to put together a custom strategy depending on your needs, your competition levels, and kind of setting expectation where it should be. Is that kind of where your head's at?
I think it would be a red flag for me if an SEO company was giving me a quote without asking about my competition, or doing any sort of competitive, research. I would be asking for referrals, certainly. I'd be asking if they have any clients in my industry, in my area. I mean, I think that's one thing to look out for. If you're trying to compete locally, you don't want an SEO agency that's working on your account and your competitors, most likely. So I'd be watching out for that as well.
Nice one. So Jordan, I always, the last question on the pod is always just that one piece of advice. What's the one piece of advice that you'd give to an in-house marketer listening to today's pod to kind of help them in their career?
Should have given me this question before the podcast started.
I don't know. As we say down here, I've stitched you up. I don't know if you know what that means. I'll put you on the spot.
What is the one piece of advice I'd give an in-house marketer trying to advance their career?
Yeah.
Well, I think I would choose your agency wisely. It's often, in-house marketers have a tough job. You often have a very part of a small marketing team, a lot of expectations, a lot of hats that you have to wear. And if you are, lucky enough to have a budget to hire an agency, they can make your life much easier. They can help you get promoted and make you look great. So I would really spend the extra time interviewing your agency, having calls with them, meeting the team, looking at the reporting that they're going to give you, checking references. These are, in most cases, I don't know if it's like this in Australia, but if you're signing up for a 6-month contract, your performance and maybe your bonus, and the trajectory of your career could be largely dependent on how well the agency performs. And that's something we don't take lightly. We love getting our clients promoted or helping them hit their bonuses. So sharing with your agency even, hey, here's what I have to do to get promoted this quarter, or here's what I have to do to hit my bonus, and making sure that they understand, that yes, they're working for your company, but they're also working for you as the in-house marketer. And, you guys both have to work together. So I would really do due diligence and make that decision.
Being put on the spot, I like that. It's true, isn't it? It's kind of, I'm often underwhelmed by the process that that people go through to procure an agency, right? It's like you get this wrong and the consequences can be stark. And you also maybe stark for your career, but also even if it's not, even if it's just a case of having to go and find another agency in 6 months, that's terrible in terms of time.
And don't do RFPs, guys. RFPs are the worst. Can I just rant about RFPs?
Yeah, well, we don't respond to them, so you can rant as much as you want. We literally
oh wow, okay.
Maybe this needs to be another topic on the pod.
Yeah, I don't get why companies do RFPs, because essentially they put together this document, send it out to a bunch of agencies, and maybe you get one phone call to ask them questions. To have a really good to get a proposal from an agency that's right for you, I think requires hours of conversation.
Yeah.
Literally 2 to 3 hours of conversations over 2-3 meetings, talking about your goals and your company and understanding your competition, doing research and reviewing it. And, you just don't get that with a lot of RFPs. They
They just suck. We literally don't respond to them. So it's like because we get more requests for work than we can take on. And we just write back saying, if you want to go through our process, which is exactly as you described, we'll have a quick call to make sure that by and large, what you want is something that we can deliver upon. And then we go under the hood, right? We want to learn more about what you're trying to achieve internally, externally, current lay of the land, and then we'll come back with something tailored. But the idea of having to sit there and send emails and no thanks, like it's not good for anyone. That's good. Well, I think we should do a separate pod on RFPs. Jordan, it's kind of weird. Like we're not competitors, but I always ask kind of where can we find you, website, anything like that. I guess Rocket does, if you're an Australian marketer, Rocket does run paid media, et cetera, into the US for lots of our clients. So we do run some US campaigns. But we wouldn't have any clients that are exclusively based in the States looking to market into the States. So I think if you were in that position or whatever else, Jordan's agency would be a great one to speak to. So what's the best way to find you?
Yeah, neonambition.com is our website. Jordan at neonambition.com is my email. Happy to speak to anyone who might be interested.
Legend. Thanks, Jordan.
All right, James. Good on you.
Thank you.